Good morning, students. Today we will do lesson 2 of history. The name of the chapter is On the Trail of the Earliest People. In this chapter, we will study about the life and achievements of the early man. Near about 200 years ago, early man was a hunter and gatherer. He used to move from place to place in search of food and water. Or you can say he was a nomad. Who are nomads? Nomads are the people who move from one place to another in search of food and water. A layman gathered food items like fruits, roots, honey, etc. from forests and hunted wild animals. He did not know how to produce food. He used the things available in nature to survive. He did not know how to modify the natural things according to their needs. कि कैसे जो चीज़ें उनके पास नेचर में अवेलेबल है वो उनको अपनी ज़रूरत के अकॉर्डिंग कैसे चेंज कर सकते हैं दिस दे वर नॉट नोइंग सो ही सर्च्ड such places where he could find food in abundance. फिर वो ऐसी जगह को सर्च करते थे जहाँ पर उनको बहुत सारा खाना मिल सके. And when the food was finished at that place, he used to move from there in search of some other place where he could find food. Now, how do we come to know all these things about early man? There are various archaeological sources like fossils, rock shelters, paintings, and stone tools. We will study about them one by one. First of all, fossils. What are fossils? Fossils are the remains of dead plants and animals and humans, dead plants, animals, and humans, which were buried under the rocks and preserved there for millions of years. From these fossils, the historians come to know about such living things which have become extinct. जो चीज़ें ऐसी लिविंग थिंग्स जो उस टाइम में थी लेकिन अब वो एक्सटिंक्ट हो चुकी हैं, वो है ही नहीं है, ऐसी चीज़ें भी हिस्टोरियंस को मिली हैं फॉसिल्स की हेल्प से. Then the next are rock paintings. Early man lived in caves and rock shelters. He used to paint the walls of the caves. The paintings depicted the scenes of hunting. Depicted the scenes means वो अपनी पेंटिंग में कैसे क्या ड्रॉ करते थे, क्या पेंट करते थे, क्या दिखाते थे, that means depicted. So the paintings depicted the scenes of hunting, dancing, music, household scenes, etc. And animals also like bison, tigers, lions, elephants, etc. The shades which were used in these paintings were red, white, green, and yellow. Some of the best examples of these paintings are found in Madhya Pradesh, UP, Gujarat, Bihar, Maharashtra, Kerala, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. Now, the next archaeological sources are the stone tools. Now, that early man he used to make tools from the stones. वो अपने जो काटने के लिए कुछ भी बनाने के लिए वो जो टूल बनाता था वो किसकी हेल्प से बनाता था स्टोन की हेल्प से बनाता था सो ही मेड टूल्स फ्रॉम द स्टोन फॉर हंटिंग एनिमल्स एंड कटिंग ट्रीज एटसेट्रा these tools help the historians to collect information about the life of early man. Modern historians are adopting some another techniques to understand the life of early man. What is this technique? Historians they compare the livelihood, the rituals. Livelihood means द मीन्स ऑफ लाइवलीहुड मीन्स वो कैसे लाइफ जीते थे, क्या कमाते थे, क्या उनकी ऑक्यूपेशंस थी, व्हाट वर देयर रिचुअल्स, रिचुअल्स मीन्स उनके क्या रीति रिवाज थे, एंड सोशल कस्टम्स ऑल्सो, जो सोसाइटी के उनके रिवाज थे. सो दे कंपेयर द लाइवलीहुड रिचुअल्स एंड सोशल कस्टम्स with that of present day hunter gatherer society. Still now, at present, in this present time also, there are some tribal societies who are hunter and gatherers. So they compare the life of today's hunter gatherers with the early man. Early man used to choose the place where the food and water was easily available. So they were moving from one place to another ना, तो वो कहाँ पर जाते थे, कौन सी जगह को ढूंढते थे, क्यों घूमते रहते थे एक जगह से दूसरी जगह, ताकि वो एक ऐसी जगह को तलाश कर सके जहाँ पर उनको खाना और पानी दोनों मिल सके. So mostly he lived on the slopes of hills where he can live in the caves and stones where he can take shelter in the caves. He can make caves in the hills, and he can take shelter in the caves, and there at that places the stones were also easily available, and he could use those stones to make tools. These places were called habitations come factory sites. Habitation come factory sites means habitation means जहाँ पर हम रहते हैं, तो वो जगह जो होती थी वो उनके रहने के काम भी आती थी और उनके टूल्स को बनाने के भी काम आती थी. एक तरह से वो वहाँ पर उनकी फैक्ट्री होती थी स्टोन के टूल्स बनाने की. सो दैट इज़ वाई दीज प्लेसेस वर ऑल्सो कॉल्ड हैबिटेशन कम फैक्ट्री साइट्स. Historians are not clear about the division of labor within earlier societies. It is generally said by the scholars that both men and women were doing various activities together. Here division of labor means कि males क्या काम करते थे और females क्या काम करती थी. So that is not clear to the historians. It is said that both men and women, they were doing the activities together. Now I hope all of you might be knowing that fire was discovered by early men. Archaeologists have found the traces of ash. Ash means राख. उनको राख के traces means एक सबूत मिले हैं कि वहाँ पर राख थी. कहाँ पर? In Kurnool in Andhra Pradesh. So it proves that they were using fire. Cooking huts are also found. Cooking huts means जो चूल्हे या फिर जो एक तरह से तंदूर, कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें जिसमें वो खाना पकाते थे, that are also found in Burzahom in Kashmir. It means that early men discovered fire at the end of the Paleolithic age. They might have discovered fire by rubbing stones together. So fire was very useful for them, like for cooking. Before discovery of fire, they were eating the raw flesh of animals. Raw means कच्चा ही खा जाते थे वो. But after the discovery of fire, they started cooking the flesh of animals. They got light from the fire, and they got heat from the fire in cold winters. They were protecting themselves from wild animals with the help of fire. At the same time, as the time and environment changed, early men learned many new things and developed new techniques. He made stone tools for chopping, cutting meat and bones, scraping bark from trees, chopping fruits and roots, etc. Some tools were attached to the handles of bone or wood to make spears and arrows. स्पीयर होता है एक बहुत लंबा सारा, एक स्टिक के साथ आगे एक शार्प वो लगा देते हैं एरो से, तो वो एक भाला जिसको हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं. एंड arrows were made for hunting. Wood was also chopped for firewood to make tools. So that is why this age was also called the Stone Age, because in this age early men learned many new techniques to make tools from the stones. Historians have divided this Stone Age into three periods: Paleolithic period, Mesolithic period, and Neolithic period. So first of all, we will study about Paleolithic period. Paleolithic period is further divided into lower, middle, and upper Paleolithic period. During this period, people made tools on large flakes and cobbles. Cobbles means round stones like hand axes and cleavers. Cleavers means a tool with heavy and broad blades. So, in this Paleolithic period, the technique which they used to make tools was that they were making tools on large flakes and cobbles. राउंड पत्थर के ऊपर वो टूल्स बनाते थे, उनकी फ्लेक्स काटते थे और उससे वो हैंड एक्सेस बनाते थे और क्लीवर्स बनाते थे. क्लीवर्स मीन्स द टूल विच वॉज हैविंग अ वेरी हैवी एंड ब्रॉड ब्लेड. In this period, man was a food gatherer and he was dependent for his survival on hunting wild animals and birds, fishing, collecting wild fruits, nuts, and berries, and even wood from the forests. Therefore, a variety of tools were made for specific purposes during this period. Now, these stones were mostly made by using two different techniques. Two techniques were used to make these tools. First technique was stone on stone technique. What was done in this? Here a man held a pebble in his hand. Another stone was used as a hammer by him, which he struck on the pebble to give it a certain shape. एक पत्थर के ऊपर दूसरे पत्थर को मारता था और उसको उस दूसरे पत्थर के साथ तोड़ तोड़ कर उसको एक शेप देता था. दैट वॉज कॉल्ड स्टोन ऑन स्टोन टूल. नेक्स्ट टेक्निक वॉज प्रेशर फ्लेकिंग. हेयर अ पेबल वॉज प्लेस्ड ऑन अ फर्म सरफेस. जैसे नीचे फर्श पर एक पत्थर को रख लिया जाता था. दिस पेबल वॉज कॉल्ड अ कोर. जो नीचे पत्थर आ गया उसको कोर बोला जाता था. देन अ पीस ऑफ बोन और अ स्टोन वॉज प्लेस्ड ऑन द कोर. उसके ऊपर एक बोन का टुकड़ा या फिर एक स्टोन का टुकड़ा रख दिया जाता था. एंड देन द हैमर स्टोन वॉज यूज टू रिमूव फ्लेक्स फ्रॉम द बोन और स्टोन टू मेक फ्लेक इम्प्लीमेंट्स. अब उसकी हेल्प से, उस एक बोन या स्टोन की हेल्प से उस जो नीचे वाला पत्थर होता था उसको काटा जाता था, उसकी फ्लेक्स निकाली जाती थी. अब ये एक नीचे पत्थर रख दिया, उसके ऊपर एक और पॉइंटेड स्टोन या बोन रख के उसके ऊपर फिर पत्थर से मारा जाता था. उसको एक हैमर की तरह यूज़ किया जाता था ताकि वो फ्लेक्स को काट सके. So this was all about Paleolithic period. Now the next period is Mesolithic period. This period was between 10,000 BC and 8,000 BC, and it is also called Mesolithic age. In this was a time of transition from the old culture to new cultural tradition. During this period, there was abundant growth of forest and grasslands. तो इससे क्या हुआ? The population of certain animal species such as wild sheep, goat, cattle, pig, and donkey increased. The conditions became favorable for the growth of grasses such as wild barley and wheat. Now, here what happened in this period, ecological condition change. मौसम जो environment था वो change होना शुरू हो गया. Glaciers जो थे they were retreated और इससे क्या हुआ, बहुत सारे फॉरेस्ट की ग्रोथ हुई, ग्रासलैंड्स की ग्रोथ हुई. इससे एनिमल्स की पॉपुलेशन बढ़ी and this conditions became favorable for the growth of certain grasses and wheat, barley and wheat also. The typical stone implements which were used in Mesolithic period were very tiny stone tools. अब यहाँ पर इस पीरियड में जो स्टोन टूल्स थे वो तीखे बनाने शुरू कर दिए थे उन्होंने, एंड दीज वर कॉल्ड माइक्रोलिथ्स. अब पहले जो थे वो टूल्स बनाते थे वो बड़े बड़े टूल्स होते थे, स्टोन टूल्स होते थे. अब इनका साइज जो था इन्होंने छोटा कर दिया, लेकिन वो ज़्यादा शार्प होते थे. सो दैट दे वर कॉल्ड माइक्रोलिथ्स. These were usually geometric in shape. Microliths made the job of hunting a little more easier. इससे hunting ज़्यादा easy हो गई थी and ज़्यादा effective हो गई थी, because this reduce the risk of going very near the animal. क्योंकि इसके लिए ये जब टूल्स यूज़ किए जाते थे तो इसके लिए एनिमल्स के ज़्यादा नज़दीक जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती थी. Next age is Neolithic period. This age began 10,000 years ago. Archaeologists and social scientists use the term New Stone Age or Neolithic Age for this age. They have used this term New Stone Age for Neolithic period to indicate a stage of cultural evolution or technological development in the earlier societies. क्योंकि इस पीरियड में टेक्नोलॉजिकल डेवलपमेंट हुई थी, कल्चरल एवोल्यूशन हुई, टेक्नोलॉजिकल डेवलपमेंट हुई जो सोसाइटीज़ थी उस पीरियड की. पीपल नाउ मेड more refined and polished tools and started leading a settled life in villages. अब लोग उनको पता चल गया था कि क्रॉप्स कैसे ग्रो किए जाते हैं और एनिमल्स को कैसे डोमेस्टिकेट किया जाता है, एनिमल्स उनके क्या क्या काम आ सकते हैं. सो दे स्टार्टेड ग्रोइंग क्रॉप्स, दे स्टार्टेड डोमेस्टिकेटिंग एनिमल्स, एंड नाउ there was no need to move from place to place because now the food was available to them at the one place only, and they have learned many more things also, like crafts like pottery and weaving. So Neolithic age will be discussed in detail in next chapter. Now, choosing a place to live in. The earlier societies, they preferred to live in certain type of locations. What type of locations? Like rock shelters and caves. Here they could protect themselves from rain, heat and wind. वो एक केव बना लेते थे, पत्थरों में गुफा बना लेते थे और उस गुफा में वो प्रोटेक्टेड रहते थे बारिश में, गर्मी में, सर्दी में. So they were safe there in the caves. These sites are known as habitation sites. So natural caves and rock shelters are found in Vindhyas and the Deccan Plateau. These rock shelters are close to the Narmada Valley. There are some other sites also. Sites means जो जगह जहाँ पर historians को इनके proofs मिले हैं उनको हम sites बोलते हैं यहाँ पर. So the other sites which were chosen by earliest people to live mainly because good quality stones were found here. अब ये जो अर्लियर सोसाइटीज़ थी ये हिली एरियाज़ को क्यों ज़्यादा चूज़ करती थी रहने के लिए? एक तो वो वहाँ पर केव्स बना सकते थे हिल्स के अंदर, पहाड़ों के अंदर. दूसरा, उनको वहाँ पर स्टोन्स इजीली अवेलेबल हो जाते थे, एंड स्टोन्स वर, एज वी हैव seen, that they were very important part of their life because they were dependent upon the stone tools for cutting, chopping, hunting. They were killing the animals which were wild animals, and so the places where they were making these tools, they were you can say जैसे फैक्ट्री में कुछ चीज़ बनाई जाती है तो जिस जगह पर वो ये पत्थरों के टूल्स बनाते थे उस जगह को फैक्ट्री साइट बोला जाता था, और जिस जगह पर वो रहते थे उसको हैबिटेशन साइट बोला जाता था, और जिस जगह पर दोनों ही काम होते थे, रहना भी और टूल्स बनाना भी, उसको क्या बोला जाता था? हैबिटेशन फैक्ट्री, हैबिटेशन कम फैक्ट्री साइट. नाउ हियर वी हैव been told about a place Hunski. It is a village in the southern state of Karnataka. It is located between the river Krishna and its tributary Bhima. A number of early Paleolithic sites of same type have been found here, At some sites, a large number of tools used for all sorts of activities were found. Among the tools, we can say that what type of tools are found: hand axes, cleavers, scrapers and knives. Some of the sites were close to the springs होते हैं झरने. कुछ sites जो मिली हैं वो झरनों के पास मिली है. उसका रीज़न ताकि वहाँ पर पानी जो है वो easily available हो सके. At Isampur in northern Karnataka, also a quarry cum workshop site has been identified. Means habitations cum workshop. Workshop means where the tools were made. So most tools were made from limestone, which was locally available. So this was all about the life of early man. So here we finish with the chapter. I hope all of you have understood it.